On this episode, I'm going to unbox the NOVE watch, which in Latin translates to novus, which is young, extraordinary, new, fresh, and unusual. Definitely some good ways of describing this particular piece. NOVE is a boutique Swiss watchmaker that pertains to people that appreciate contemporary design and value time. Now, their aim is to take time back and detox from the fast-paced world that we live in. So, does this watch live up to their specs? Because this does have a high price tag. Do all these things translate, and are they justified? We're going to find out on this episode of
AvgJoeWatchReviews.
It's always time. Kind of like Alright, so we have the micro brand NOVE in for review today. They actually did gift this to the channel, so I do not have to give it back. But as all of you loyal subscribers know, that I will not give this watch a break regardless. I will give you my honest opinion. So, we're going to open this up, and there's some things about this watch that I do not like, but there's a couple things I do like. So, I'm going to be fair to this watch, and let's just unveil it right here. So first and foremost, the packaging is great. You get this travel case. I love it when companies do this, because if you're going on vacation, you throw it in this and it's well protected. This is all foam. It's actually not a bad quality foam either. I've had some companies that had the foam, and you know that thing is going to just degrade over the years. So at least I like the heavy dense foam here. So right away, I love this dial. This dial is absolutely gorgeous, and I think that was the first thing that caught my eye when NOVE reached out to me and said, hey, are you willing to do a review on this watch? I said, you know what? I've always wanted an Abalone dial. And I said, absolutely, you know? The other thing that really caught my eye, which I love what NOVE does, they do a lot of innovative things that are not necessary, but they're out of the ordinary. They go against the grain, and I have to admit that Average Joe goes against the grain in a lot of cases, so I can relate. So I like this little mechanism here. And not only that, but when you twist the bezel, check that out. You've got a floating, almost like a floating bezel here. So as you can see, the outer ring is actually moving. The markers are not. So that's pretty cool, guys. And when you see the loom shot, you're going to see exactly how all of this gets loomed up and shines brightly, pretty nicely. So this is a 300 meter, 1,000 foot water resistant watch. So this is a true diver, and this is an automatic Swiss made with a Ronda movement, guys. So this actually has a quality movement. So when we take a look at the back, which I like this here too, this is the diver extension. Very, very simple. You've got the two pushers here, and you can actually adjust it on the fly. So I like that as well. It does have a pressure fit clasp. You've got the mill clasp going on here with that safety lock here. So when we take a look at the movement, check this out. You've got NOVE on the rotor, and you just got that quality Ronda movement. So very nicely done there. Now, when we take a look at the watch in general, just taking a look at it kind of around the dial here, and just the watch case in general, you see that it's actually a sandwich case. So you've got a screw here, screw there. You've got NOVE engraved on the side, which I know a lot of you guys love. And I'm being very sarcastic. And you can just see that this kind of fits, well, this does actually fit into this particular setting here. So it's instead of a sandwich dial, you get actually a sandwich case. Very, very interesting. And behind this mechanism here, which is very easy to maneuver, by the way, you just simply bring it out. So the bezel will not move at all unless you bring this out. I don't know how many clicks that is, but it's a lot of clicks. It's probably about 120 clicks. And guess what, guys? It is unidirectional. I was going to see if there's any backplay, and the thing started going the other way. But when you have that mechanism down, it doesn't move at all. So that's pretty cool. We do have a 4 o'clock crown, and in order to deploy the crown, you're going to wind it out. It does pop out, and it does feel quality, definitely. You can hear that winding action, very tight. Feels like a quality movement, guys. I mean, the rondas are not bad movements at all. I actually like ronda movements. You click it out twice. You can see it's a hacking second hand. And you're going to simply set the time. We saw that click over very, very just like snappy. You do get a Cyclops, which I know I have to be careful because that's a Rolex term. So you get a magnifier at the 3 o'clock for those purists out there that are going to want to roast me. And then we can change the date. Let me bring this to 6 o'clock because that's my general rule, 6 o'clock. And then you click it out once for the date, and you can see every turn brings that date around. So it's very, very nicely done with this movement. The crown action's great. You can get to the crown very easily. Screws back in, simple, and I like that screw down. You get the knurling on the crown. You get the NOVE logo there. You get the brushing on this setting, and then you get that shiny, polished PVD or whatever coating they use. I'm not exactly sure, but you get that on the inner. You also get that shininess on the outer links of this bracelet, or I guess you could say just the links in general, because the inner, which actually has screws in there, this is also brushed. Very interesting look. Not my thing though. I could have actually done without the screws. Honestly, for me, I would have liked to seen this maybe be like a rubber bracelet, silicone perhaps. This is a very heavy watch, and we're going to put this on the scale in a second, but this is going to be really hard to swap out because you could see that really skinny lug width there. This is definitely one of those bracelets that are going to have to pretty much stay on unless you could find something, which is going to be really difficult because that's really custom, you know what I mean? So let's put this on the scale and see what this weighs, and then we're going to take some measurements on it. It's a heavy watch, it's a large watch, and quite frankly, there are going to be the couple negatives for me personally. So from a weight perspective, this thing is 9 ounces, and we're going to switch it over to grams. So if I take another diver out of my collection, for instance, I'm going to take just another micro brand. This is the Van Banner, the parking meter one. This one is 160, and this one's all steel. I'll do another one for comparison. We'll do the Tudor Black Bay GMT just for weight. And again, we're at 162. Guys, this watch here is 256 grams. That's a lot of weight, okay? So for me, I think you would have had some weight savings if in fact you put this on a rubber bracelet or silicone, you know, even some type of just sailcloth, for instance, something lighter, you know, that would have definitely helped with the weight, because this is a heavy, heavy watch. Now we're going to do some dimensions here, and That's going to be another negative of mine, which is this thing is a beast. I'm getting 50. I know they said 50 and a half, but I'm getting, I mean, it's close to 50 and a half, but it's definitely a tick over 50. When we look at the width, this thing is actually a 14 millimeter in width. Okay. Now, again, the Tudor it's actually the same width, guys. Check that out. So it just kind of gives you an idea of how thick this Tudor Black Bay is. The NOVE watch here is really thick as well. And then when we look at our lug to lug, which when you take a look at it here, guys, it really drapes down, which actually helps with the wrist presence, which I'm going to show you in a second. So it's not going to wear as large as I expected, but I'm just going to do it from here to here, as you can see, and I'm going to show you a side view right around 54, and that's really how I'm measuring it, like that. So that's actually not too bad, and I'm going to show you what it's like on the wrist. Now, if I were to show you guys the lug width, I mean, it's really not going to matter, guys, but let me just see if I can get you at least somewhat of a measurement here. Around a 17 millimeter. But again, I don't know how you would even do, I mean, it's going to look silly. I mean, you're more than welcome to try, but I think it's going to stay on here for sure. But I'm going to show you to you on the wrist. I didn't take any links off. I really don't want to mess with it. Because full disclosure, I'm actually not going to keep this watch, so I want to keep it in as new condition as possible. But there it is on my 7-inch wrist, and for being a 50.5 millimeter watch, this thing doesn't wear as large because of that lug to lug and the way those lugs they do kind of spill down and drape over the wrist, so it does fit on the wrist nicely. I like heavy watches, so I mean, it doesn't bother me, but I know a lot of you guys out there, you talk about wrist fatigue and whatnot. I've actually never suffered from that, guys. I've heard that from a couple of people, watch reviewers, and I have to admit, I was giggling, because anyone that's suffering watch fatigue probably needs to go to the gym. So I don't understand. Maybe someone can explain that one down below, but yeah, so I'm going to give you guys some final thoughts on this. Let me just do one more thing. I have another toy here for you guys. This is the Sapphire Diamond Selector. So we're going to warm this up, and we're going to check it out and see whether or not we're getting Sapphire on both sides. Sapphire on the top, as expected. I don't expect Sapphire in the back, but let's see. You never know. I've been surprised before. That's the confusing thing, by the way, guys. I kept doing this to try to release it. This is actually a pressure fit. Again, this is for the diver extension. So, as you saw there, it confused me for a second there. So, we are actually getting Sapphire on the back as well. So, nice touch from NOVE. Definitely thumbs up on that. So, there you go. So, we're going to flip the camera around and give you guys some final thoughts. All right, just some final thoughts on the NOVE. This thing is a large watch. It's a chunky monkey, guys. I mean, let's just be honest. But so is my Tudor. That's a chunky monkey. This thing does weigh well over 200 grams, as opposed to most divers, which are in the 140, 160 range. Okay, so this is heavy as well. Positive thing is, at least the lugs do drape down. I think the black, it's just too much shiny black for me. I could have done without these screws. I think this watch would have benefited more from a rubber strap to help with the weight. And also, I just think, you know, there's just too much shine. So it's like too much bling for me. So I think they could have toned that down as well, just with something rubberized, just to kind of tone that down a little bit, guys. So that's that. I love this dial. The Abalone shell shines like crazy. Again, you've got that bling factor. So they don't need to have all this shiny PVD or whatever they're using here. I think they could have toned it down a bit with that. I do like this locking mechanism. I think it's pretty cool. You can get that bi-directional bezel there. I do like the floating numbers there. That's very unique and interesting. The sandwich case is interesting. But at the end of the day, this is just not a watch for me. It's not staying in my collection. And, you know, it's not because I think it's a bad watch. It's got a Ronda Swiss movement in it. Now, this watch retails for just around $700. Now, that's a huge negative for me personally, because for $700, you can get a lot of watches for that price. And even though you're getting a Swiss movement, I just think that this watch looks too much, too blingy, it's too big, it's too heavy. But I think it's a quality piece. And this is just one of those watches that are going to be for that niche crowd. So, you know, be that as it may, it does have excellent lume. It's got good bezel action. It's got good crown feel. Everything about the watch feels good. It's just, even the packaging, I love the packaging. It's just not a piece for me. I'd love to hear what you guys think down below. So comment down below and let me know your thoughts. And always remember that there's always time to be kind to one another. Please take care of each other. And I'll see you guys next time on AvgJoeWatchReviews. God bless, my friends.